Welcome, everyone. Marijuana Times show for February 26, 2018. I'm your host, Joe Klare. Find myself and many other great writers covering all the cannabis news and opinion you need about the community, the industry, and beyond. Over at marijuanatimes.org. Come check us out. You can also find these videos there as well. Easy to share on your social media networks. And also make sure you check and search Apple Podcasts for the audio-only version of the show. For those of you on the go, search the Marijuana Times on Apple Podcast. Today we're talking about new marijuana drop boxes in Las Vegas. Also, the latest out of Maine when it comes to recreational legalization up there. Spoiler alert, it is not going well. Also, what Mexican cartels are doing now, that marijuana is much less profitable. Imagine that, marijuana is much less profitable now that legalization is sweeping the U.S. and as more states legalize. The price is going down. And it's like it's undercutting the cartel's ability to sell marijuana. It's amazing. If only someone had been able to predict that, before legalization. Other than every single marijuana legalization activist who's ever said anything publicly, they've all said that. So, hence my sarcasm. Before we get to all that, of course, to tell you about NatureSideCannabis.com, a proud sponsor of the Marijuana Times show. Grow safe and poison-free with Natureside's line of organic, all-natural pesticides. If you're a cannabis cultivator, you don't want to use harmful chemicals on your grow. You want to use safe, natural pesticides, and you also want to be regulatory compliant in your state. NatureSideCannabis.com can help you with all of that. Make sure you check out NatureSideCannabis.com. Side is spelled CIDE, a proud sponsor of the Marijuana Times show. They have expertise. They have organic, all-natural pesticides. So go check them out. This first story is from marijuanatimes.org. Penned by yours truly. Marijuana disposal drop boxes installed at Las Vegas's airport. You're saying, what is a marijuana drop box? Sounds good. Well, it's not that good. It's good. I mean, it'll come in handy, as I say in the article, but anyway, that marijuana, recreational adult use marijuana, is legal in Nevada. They've been selling it in places, in medical marijuana dispensaries in places like Las Vegas since July. But for the last few months, marijuana has been illegal on the premises of all of the airports in Clark County, Nevada, which encompasses Las Vegas. Of course, so last week, authorities began installing marijuana disposal drop boxes at McCarran International Airport in Las Vegas. The boxes are large green metal bins. They're bolted to the ground, and you can only put stuff in them. You can't get stuff out of them. So those of you who are thinking that you would run over and shove your hand down this bin and grab some weed, that's not going to happen. Christine Cruz, McCarran's public information administrator, said the drawer pulls out, you drop your stuff in, and you close it. You can't really get your hand in there. If you start tampering with them, you'll be detected pretty quickly. Much like a post office box, a postal box, a mailbox, where you put letters in to be mailed. I know there's not many of those left. There's a few. But if you go to a post office, they're probably outside the post office. There's some freestanding mailboxes. You can put a letter in there, and you put the letter in there, and once you put it in there, it's gone. You're not going to reach in there and get it back. That is the premise of the drop box. If you are leaving Las Vegas or leaving Clark County, Nevada, you may have weed on you. Maybe you got a vape pen, a couple grams of flour, whatever. Any kind of recreational products that you can't take in the airport, you can throw them in this drop box and not have to worry about it. And it's all legal and it's cool. Now, if you go in the airport, if you're carrying less than an ounce, which is legal in Nevada, they'll just take your stuff anyway. So you're not going to be taken on the plane either way if they catch you. And if it's over an ounce, then you'll be arrested and charged with a felony. So if those of you who have over an ounce, it would behoove you to get rid of it. Now, as I say in the article, at the end, it's better to kind of plan better and use up all your recreational products before you leave, because you're just throwing money in that box. I mean, let's face it. And you probably lost a ton at the casino and you're not feeling good. And you just say, well, now I got this, $40 vape pen I got to throw in this box. Maybe throw a party, maybe whatever, a traditional end of leaving Las Vegas party where you use up all your recreational products. I don't know. Make it your own. I'm not figuring this out for you. Make it your own tradition. It's not my job to do that for you. but you're throwing money in that box. So try not to do that. But if you have to do that, that's cool. Bins are also installed at McCarran's car rental facility, also Henderson Executive Airport, and the North Las Vegas Airport. So if you're leaving Clark County, Nevada, and you got some recreational product on you, look for the big green box. Get rid of that stuff, especially if it's over an ounce of flour. And, well, you don't want to be charged with a felony. That'd be horrible. You thought the casino was bad. Wait till you're charged with a felony. Holy crap. This next story is from MainePublic.org. Lawmakers consider lowering number of marijuana plants Mainers can grow for personal use. Yes, of course. Of course. It's not like taking forever for recreational regulations to be gotten through the legislature and through the governor's desk. He's already vetoed a set of regulations because Paul LePage in Maine hates marijuana. He's vehemently against marijuana legalization. So obviously he's doing what he can to hold things up. But that's not bad enough. Now, legislative committee that's overhauling the law is trying to cut the amount of flowering plants someone can have at home, an adult can have at home in Maine, from 6 to 3. Supporters of the proposal under consideration say it would give municipalities more flexibility to craft their own homegrown rules. They also say the larger limit of 6 plants creates extra supply, which could potentially find its way onto the black market, especially if out-of-state traffickers pay Maine landowners to cultivate on their property. So, potentially find its way onto the black market. Some excess marijuana. Oh, the horror of such a thing happening. That's a pretty, call me biased, that's a pretty lame justification for saying, no, not 6 plants, now 3 plants. Voters voted on 6 plants, whatever, we don't care. Independent State Rep Kent Ackley of Monmouth says leaving the existing 6-plant limit in Maine could undercut the yet-to-be-launched recreational market. If we don't have a regulated marketplace where we control the supply to a reasonable, rational way and prevent the distribution of these products to young folks, who shouldn't have access to it. But Democratic State Representative Craig Hickman of Winthrop said the proposed change could violate the committee's vow last year to leave home cultivation rules alone. He also challenges assertions that the current limit is creating problems, such as the diversion of legally grown cannabis to the black market. The problems that we see are happening are still in the atmosphere to me. I haven't seen anyone sit there and document the problem and say, give me this authority to limit homegrown parcels and tracts of land in the state of Maine. Of course, because there's not any. You're never going to be able to point to any evidence to say, this is why 6 plants is bad and this is why 3 plants is good. Because that data doesn't exist. So hopefully Representative Craig Hickman of Winthrop isn't holding his breath for an answer to that question. Like I say, it's not enough that all of this has been delayed way past when it should have been. I mean, even Massachusetts is trying to get ready for July sales. It's already, recreational sales have already started in California and in Nevada, as I just mentioned. All 3 of those states voted to legalize recreational marijuana on the same day, November of 2016. But Maine, well, they're lagging behind, as we've chronicled many times on the Marijuana Time Show. This last story comes from USA Today. The poor plight of the Mexican cartels. Mexican cartels are pushing more heroin after U.S. states relax marijuana laws. As more U.S. states legalize use of marijuana, Mexico's violent drug cartels are turning to the basic law of supply and demand. That means small farmers, or campesinos, in this border state's rugged Sierra Madre, who long planted marijuana to be smuggled into the United States, are switching to opium poppies, which bring a higher price. The opium gum harvested is processed into heroin to feed the ravaging U.S. opioid crisis. Marijuana isn't as available, so they switched to a more profitable product, said Javier Avila, a Jesuit priest in this region rife with drug cartel activities. Laws allowing marijuana in states like Colorado, Washington, and California are causing shifts in the Mexican underworld. They've also led to increased violence as the cartels move away from its cash cow of marijuana to traffic more heroin and methamphetamines. U.S. Customs and Border Protection statistics show that marijuana seizures fell by more than half since 2012, while heroin and methamphetamine seizures have held steady or markedly increased. There's a record 29,168 murders in 2017 in Mexico, the most since the country started keeping homicide statistics in 1997. Cartels are splintering into smaller factions. There's power struggles within the Sinaloa cartel after leader El Chapo Guzman was arrested and extradited to the U.S., plus the rise of the violent Jalisco New Generation cartel, which expanded nationally and moved in on El Chapo's turf. So there's all kinds of stuff going down in Mexico. They're moving away from marijuana because it's not as profitable, because that's what legalization does. People say, well, it's worse now. They're going to heroin and methamphetamines. Well, that's not marijuana's fault. Marijuana didn't have to be legal. Cannabis consumers didn't have to be criminals. But it shows that if you legalize, the price comes down and it undercuts Mexican cartel profits. Obviously, or they wouldn't be moving on to other things. I'm sure it's easier to grow a marijuana plant than it is to make gum from opium. I mean, I have no idea what that process is. Opium gum harvested and processed into heroin, that sounds complicated. Sounds a lot more complicated than put in marijuana seeds, water it, grow the plant, pick the flowers off the plant and sell them. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe processing opium gum into opium gum into heroin is very easy. But somehow I doubt it. So they wouldn't be moving the tougher things for the profits if they get the profits from marijuana, but the profits from marijuana are disappearing thanks to legalization, as was predicted, as I said, by every single activist who's ever talked about this issue and who favored the legalization of marijuana. Thanks, everybody, for listening. I am Joe Klare. This is the Marijuana Times Show for February 26, 2018. Thank you to naturesidecannabis.com. They're an awesome sponsor. They're organic, all-natural pesticides, and their expertise can be found at naturesidecannabis.com. If you want to sponsor the show, email us at info@marijuanatimes.org and let us know. Thanks, everybody, for listening, for liking and sharing and commenting on the videos and helping us spread the truth about cannabis through the Marijuana Times Show. We will see you next time.